We're driving a 2020 Chevrolet Camaro. Coming up in a moment, I'm going to floor it to dazzle my child. But first, information explosion. For $500. Ha!
Wait, did I already do this? I get another $500?
If you get the answer right, for $500, for what model year was the Chevrolet Camaro introduced?
Oh, shoot. It feels super retro. 69?
67. So close. While basking in your failure, let's move on to the interior. You haven't spent much time in Camaros. What do you think?
Not a judgment on the materials quality, but everything is laid out in such a way it feels like they didn't have enough room to make a car. So it has kind of a funhouse vibe in here. Like, this is at a very odd angle. Even this is weird. Like, there's nowhere to put my phone. It's like it doesn't want me in here.
Once again, you don't know things, but you do know things. When they introduced the Camaro concept years ago, it's like, wow, look at that cool car. The problem is sometimes cool shapes don't make sense for being cars. And this is definitely one of those things. The controls over here for the seat memory, they're pointed in every which way other than where a hand would use them. I have to kind of there's no good way to use that. The window switches, I have to kind of go back here and Tyrannosaurus Rex it. Yeah, what do you think about the climate controls?
I'm guessing it's this?
That is correct. You just grab the whole thing and rotate. I actually think that's kind of fun use of a feature.
I kind of wish these matched.
Oh, you mean the knurled versus non-knurled?
Yeah, I wish this was knurled as well.
Yeah, but then if that was knurled, then you might start going twisting on it.
Oh,
you can't just randomly twist anything that comes along.
So the point is, it's some of that subtle design that tells you what you're supposed to do with the object by having it be knurled?
I believe that is what's going on there.
Okay.
I'm knurled. Come touch me. Beat it! I believe one of the other defining traits, and you'll probably agree with me on this, of the Camaro's interior is size.
It's very cozy. And accessing the back is very difficult for me.
Let's talk about child friendliness then. That's a really good segue. And let me turn your heat down by grabbing this massive knurled thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you tried to get the car seat in. How'd it go?
Oh my gosh. First, it's just too large to fit in the hole.
Come on, get out of here.
I had to work very hard to find the right angle to even get it back there. And then there's a seatbelt blocking my access in and out. And then even the lash points themselves are covered over by leather. And I was like, oh, there'll be nice little snaps. I can snap this out of no.
Yeah, you think
jam it in the hole.
It looks like a flip-up flap, and it is not. Just getting the car seat back there is awkward enough, let alone getting a child back there. I will add a couple of details to the child friendliness. 5-star overall crash rating, so that's
great.
That's good. And getting our child back there does kind of work because she can squeeze herself back there. I don't know how that would work necessarily with the rear-facing car seat. So what do you think? Is the Chevrolet Camaro family-friendly?
No, it does not want us in here, but if you're really dedicated to fun, you could make it work.
You can see why absentee fathers choose the Camaro.
It's perfect.
I take
for
you
that
all, but
purpose.
I just don't have room. See, I don't want to brag, but this is how you make friends. You let the 1-800's toilets guy pull in front of you.
Why do you need that guy to be your friend? What do you got going on, baby?
Have you not heard how much toilet paper we go through? We need the 1-800 toilets guy to be our friend. As long as we're talking about cozy things, let's talk about that trunk.
It's way longer than I anticipated, based on the size of the vehicle.
I'm gonna skip right past the innuendo and note that yes, the cargo space itself is okay, but getting stuff in there, not unlike it in the car seat, is really tricky because there's a very narrow aperture. And then if you need more space, you can flip down the seat back, but it's a one-piece unit, meaning that if you needed more space with somebody in the back seat, not gonna happen.
So you can keep your family or your toilet paper, but not both.
Yes. Pick your poison.
Poison?
It's just a turn of phrase that alienates your family. At this point in the video, you might be thinking too, these people are idiots. The Chevrolet Camaro is a sporty coupe and they want it to be an SUV. We recognize that it is a sporty coupe, but we're merely acknowledging the fact that these are the limitations. If you can work around them, if they make sense for your lifestyle, Camaro on. What do you think about seat comfort? Is that thing working for you?
I haven't adjusted it properly. You talk about yours.
For me, being on brand, I'm going to complain about static lumbar in that there is not enough and it is non-adjustable, so I might have to bust out the inflatable lumbar pillow, old man style. This is sort of an old school, the tan leather thing. Then again, I did the interior of my helicopter in this tan leather, so it resonates with me, but it may not resonate with everybody.
As soon as I opened, I was like, Micah is going to love this interior.
Yes, me and my old school luxury. Rear window test is not a thing we are going to do because there's no rear windows to roll down. Oh, but. Ooh, dun 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 dun. If you can make a bass drop, you make a bass drop. Boom. Armrest test. This looks like it'd be pretty narrow, but it's plenty wide for my elbow. There's no hard edges. The stitching is out of the way, reasonably well positioned. I can drive in a comfortable 8 and 4. That's 2 elbows up.
What?
Hey.
It's a good thing the passenger doesn't have an elbow test.
Oh yeah, no, you can go to. One last note about the interior. Earlier you mentioned material quality. Actually, I would say that in this particular trim, sure, if you go to the rental car agency, it's going to be a lot harder and less pleasing, but this doesn't feel like sad GM that you may have expected. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel? If you haven't, please do. At 50,000 subs, I'm going to tell you a terrible dark secret about my hair. Ooh, style! Now, examining the style of the Camaro, especially this one, the low-hanging fruit and very obvious statement would be like, it looks like a stormtrooper. It does look like a stormtrooper. It's got these, beefy haunches, and it's got this blacked out front treatment. And of course, there's a zillion different variations of it. So, the further you go up the food chain, the crazier it'll look. What do you think? Do you like the Camaro?
I don't like it, but I like that it exists.
I will just quickly warn you though, don't get it in white. It looks like a rental car in white. Don't get it in white. If you'd like to see what I am driving or flying between YouTube reviews, or if you'd like to see what our family is doing, follow Evie and I on Instagram, and you can send me direct messages, and if they're not too nasty, I might reply. Emotion factor! Not necessarily your style, but where emotion is concerned, in the Camaro's favor, it has genuinely modern performance and heritage. It's an interesting combination of contemporary and classic, and I think that really works for it. And then also, I promised at the beginning that I would dazzle my daughter with some needles full throttle acceleration. Whee! What do you think? Was that fun? Yay!
What is that noise?
Oh, we'll get to that noise. If you're feeling emotionally moved to buy a Chevy Camaro of your own, check out the Kelley Blue Book's listing link in the description. In motion! This is the V6 version of the Camaro. There used to be a time where the V6 was a real step down from the V8. I think there's plenty of fun to be had driving the V6. Doubly so because it's no longer the base engine. There's a 4-cylinder below this. So this does feel like a little bit of a step up. You're noticing something sound-wise. It
sounds really, beefy.
Just driving around town, it sounds fine. Kind of sounds like an outboard motor for a boat. But it sounds great when you really reach those higher revs, and especially when you upshift. In fact, we'll just do some of that right now here. So just cruising along. Hey, needles full throttle acceleration. Whee! There's that little pop between gear changes that sounds really nice. GM does a really good job with their automatic transmissions. The 10-speed, when you're just cruising around, is transparent, smooth shifts, drives great, and then there's just that little bit of extra urgency when you're really on it. That said, I would much rather drive the manual transmission, which is a 6-speed, and they still offer it. Did you know that there are more electric cars sold each year than there are manual transmission cars?
Really?
I know,
That's
and nobody
really
buys electric cars. Yeah, it's wild. This is a good opportunity. We've got a little bit of a roundabout here. Once you get past the safety cones, maybe we'll open it up a touch, create a little bit of distance in front of me, and we'll go a little bit zippily through the corner. Downshift, downshift. And there we are. That was fun. If, like me, you grew up in Camaros were these super unrefined things, you drive a new Camaro, it's really well sorted. It drives like a proper modern sports coupe. It's tricky because what you don't want is to create a Camaro that drives so smoothly that you forget that you're driving something with some sporting intention. For a sporty car, this is totally livable. Though earlier today I did like smack a really big bump that was in the shade, so I literally couldn't see it, and it gave me a solid whacking. Whew! Come on, beat it! We have to pay the iguana overtime.
Right?
Yeah. Look, we're just starting out. We don't have money to pay that iguana.
It doesn't seem quite sporty enough to be a sports car, and it doesn't seem quite family-friendly enough to be a family-friendly car. Do you think it's doing each of its jobs well enough?
What I will note is that the sporty qualities can be amplified with the driving modes. So if I go to the sport mode, this is one of the rare occasions where I actually like the sport mode steering. Usually it just gets needlessly heavy, but I do feel like this is the right amount of resistance, and it changes the behavior of the transmission. So if you want a little bit of amplified sportiness, then that's available right there. If you flip it over to Tour, then it mellows out a little bit. The great thing is that you can dial it up and down just a little bit, depending on how you're feeling. I think the most significant thing we need to talk about with driving the Camaro is visibility. What do you think?
It looks so... I don't think I could see out of this.
Well, that's true.
I think it would be dangerous for me to drive this car.
You know what that is? That's a segue. Let's have Evie drive it. Oh boy. You're already doing the kind of like groundhog, lemur, kind of head up, popped around thing.
I'm just trying to see the road, man.
So here's a pro tip. You don't need to see the road.
Okay.
If it's happening that close to you, you're already going to hit it.
Okay.
So if you relax, lean back a little bit. So your concern here is primarily visibility. Is that the one thing you're noticing?
It is very hard to see out back, especially over either shoulder. I can't see anything. I would not enjoy this as my daily driver. I wish I was driving this in an environment where I felt more comfortable exploiting what this vehicle can do.
Like the Nürburgring?
No.
You know, I just learned to mellow out once I got on track.
No, I'm talking about like an autocross where I could like fling it around.
No, sweetie, I'm committed to this premise. Let's take you to the green hell.
Yeah, I do like how responsive the steering feels. That's fun.
By the way, so you guys have asked, hey, why don't you let Evie drive? But I want you to know.
I'm terrified, that's why.
I am totally on board with it. But we don't always have time for Evie to drive because a lot of these videos have to be made very, very quickly.
That's
and
true.
sometimes you really don't want to drive.
I never want to, but I'm willing to be a team player.
Yeah, this is Evie being a team player. To round out the experience, we should have you at least accelerate with some vigor at some point.
Is this the right point?
No, this is not the right point. Okay, we have a stop sign. Let's come to a complete stop.
Okay.
Make sure this person's not going across. Okay, floor it. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
That was fun.
You got a little like wheel spin, good time? Okay, good.
It sounds good.
Pull into this parking lot right here.
Oh God, this one's hard.
We had a nice moment. Let's end while we're on top. Oh, it's so good to be back over here. In total, I think the Chevrolet Camaro is fast and refined. It's a pretty good representation for the Chevrolet brand. Continuing the Camaro's storied history. Remarks. Camaros come with the standard 7-inch infotainment system. This has the 8-inch unit. As you rightly noted, it's at a weird angle, and I'm not sure if that's to prevent glare, but it's just weird kind of poking up at it.
And it's not really preventing the glare.
As far as the interface is concerned, as we've noted in other GM products, you got this color-coded motif, and it's just really easy to find your way through. Look, there's Chevy's Marketplace, where you can not buy things because there's nothing you want there. That changes the color of the lights in here, so you can customize it to make it exactly what you want. There aren't any lights back there, though. Sorry, sweetie.
You can just hear us enjoy it in the front.
Yeah, which is the most fun part of the lighting. Okay, great. I'll also praise GM for including Android Auto and Apple CarPlay standard. That's the kind of thing I will get to not have to say in the not too distant future because everybody will do it, but there's still some holdouts. You know I'm a complaining sort, and I always complain about my elbows. But did you know I can also complain about my knee? It's true. Sometimes my knee is not comfortable, but in this particular Camaro, there is a very nicely padded spot right here to rest my knee on. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find a more luxurious way to lean your knee in a Camaro, buy it. Let's get nitpicky. When you hold the steering wheel, in this particular one, you've got stitching on the inside, which matches the seats. It looks pretty cool, but it's a little bit abrasive on my delicate journalist thumbs. These are made for typing, not for working. Scrape, scrape, scrape. A little bit abrasive though, right?
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
In peeking around the trunk, I also noted that this car does not have a spare tire. There is a tire, fix-it kit. If you like a spare tire, just take note. Wow, that Ram pickup truck went through the intersection so quickly that the rear tires literally left the ground.
Wow.
Oh, I hope that camera got it. For all you hooligan types, if you have somewhere safe to drive your Camaro like a total badass, you'll be disappointed to know that this Camaro does not have a limited slip differential, but you can add one with the 1LE package. It's only $4,500. It makes the outside look racier. You get Brembo brakes. It upgrades the suspension, and you get that sweet limited slip differential so you can slide the rear tires and either dazzle YouTube with your cool drifting videos in safe environments, or dazzle YouTube with your cool fail videos while drifting in an unsafe environment. For the record, I do not condone unsafe driving, blah, blah, blah. Hey, sweetie pie, do you want to see something cool? Okay, watch.
Whoa.
It's also a screen with a camera on it. Look, you can see the car right behind us. Is that kind of cool? Well, you're not saying anything, but your face tells me that you think it's cool. If you want to buy a Camaro, there are a lot of engine choices. There's a 2-liter turbocharged base 4-cylinder. There's this V6. Then there are 2 V8s, both 6.2 liters, and the highest one is supercharged. That supercharged engine comes in the ZL1. I've spent some time driving ZL1s, and jeepers, that's a hoot.
Okay, you've driven the high-end one. Have you driven the base engine?
Yes, I have, and actually it's a really good 4-cylinder. Interestingly, the torque output from that 4-cylinder is higher than the level-up V6. Turbocharging. You can get a base Camaro for like the mid 26,000-ish range,
Wow.
which is very accessible. However, there's a conundrum for Camaro buyers. The nicer your Camaro, the closer its price to the base price of the new Chevy Corvette, which is $60,000. So I did the math, and this particular Camaro is 59.5% to the Corvette base price. Well, what do you think? Would you buy a fancy Camaro or the basest Corvette? Tell us in the comments. You can also tell us in the comments if there's any remarks we missed. Synopsis.
Are you trying to think of a synopsis?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Keanu Reeves?
How did you know that?
I just thought of it.
Oh my God. That is exactly what I was thinking.
Because it's a little bit older, it's kind of more refined now.
Oh my God. Yes, it is Keanu Reeves. Seriously, that's crazy. I was thinking about the John Wick movies and how it's like maybe he's had a little work to smooth him out, but and he's getting up there, but he still kicks some ass.
Yeah.
If you like my wife's ability to literally see inside my brain, give us a like, won't you? I feel like it's going to take a moment for me to reckon with this.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's so weird. While I try to make sense of that moment and your ability to now see inside my brain, and I have to really think about what I'm thinking about from this point forward, let me remind you to subscribe to our channel. When we hit 100,000 subs, I'm going to review a windowless white van, kind of like that one minus the FedEx logo. Be sure to follow us on Instagram if you're curious what we're driving and flying between YouTube videos. Sweetie, I'd offer you a high five, but you already knew it was coming, didn't you? High five. Come get your high five. What do you think? Do you like the car? You do?